Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 5. It should be the final part for today. Alright, I'm ready to go here. A California man whose dog was killed by cops faces up to 5 years in prison. So I didn't have the strength to be able to watch this video, but a California owner of a Rottweiler that was fatally shot by police has been charged with multiple felony counts on Tuesday. So they did not only shot his dog, he was just a bystander. They are charging him with multiple felony counts, including one charge of intimidating a witness. He's currently being held on $310,000 bail and faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted of the 6 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. So he's a 52-year-old man from Hawthorne, California, was walking his dog Max while watching a police response to a robbery on June 30th. The California man had loud music playing from his car and was videotaping the showdown with his cell phone. So the police accused him of disturbing the crime scene, and a video of the incident quickly went viral, garnering millions of views. So as 3 officers approached him, he put his Rottweiler in his car and allowed the police to apprehend him, but while he was being arrested, the dog jumped from an open car window, ran towards the officers, and barked at them. One of the police shot the dog 4 times, causing a writhing Rottweiler to slowly bleed to death on the street as the owner's knees buckled as he cried out for the dying animal, saying here that in the statement there was no way Max should have died like that, describing that shooting as an execution. Non-compliance bars 15-year-old Atlanta boy from heart transplant list. So you can't believe this, right? This Anthony Stokes has an enlarged heart and it's been given 6 months to live, but Children's Healthcare of Atlanta won't put him on the heart transplant list, stating failures to take medication in the past and suggesting he would not complete follow-ups if given a new heart. His family and civil rights groups have called the hospital's decision a death sentence for the teen. So they ruled that because Stokes has failed to take his medication in the past, his noncompliance rules him out for the chance to get a new heart. They say also it is his low grades at school and brushes with the law that mean that he'll be sent home without the chance of survival. A great calling has begun, says, will your genetic lineage survive? So it says a great calling of the human population has quietly begun, covertly, insidiously, mercilessly. A global depopulation agenda has been launched, and as it plays out, the vast majority of the human race will be removed from the gene pool, genetically annihilated. It says, will you and your genetic lineage survive? Talking about eliminating the weak. So, and there's a lot of people that you'll find that are making anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000. They are totally on board with this stuff. They say it's difficult to see how today's mindless masses of dumbed-down consumers steeped into video games, television, and junk food can offer any meaningful contributions to the future of human civilization. So, from the point of view of the global controllers, calling the herd of humanity is actually a good thing. It makes humanity stronger, they say, in much the same way that calling the weaklings from a herd of wild animals improves the aggregate gene pool of the targeted species as a whole. I have to admit, they make some pretty good points. I just disagree with the moral aspects of it. So it says here the globalists argue that today's human gene pool is stalled. The weak and stupid reproduce just as much as everybody else, if not more so. The human gene pool is actually de-evolving. And my thing is, like, I think that we're genetically de-evolving, but I think it's because of the eugenics that's in the economic warfare and everything that's used basically for controlling the entire planet. It's about them not ceding control, their power over us, and in order to do that, whatever it takes of people eating themselves into obesity or entertaining themselves, whatever, it's all about control. So this is what the result of it is, and they're saying because they've basically attacked us and we have allowed ourselves to be victims and been fooled, that we should just be called off because of that, because we're victims of this attack. So I think that also that we're spiritually de-evolving as well. So they say, and the only way to bring it back to the point where we have a species capable of reaching for the stars is to eliminate those who aren't smart enough to deserve a spot in the human gene pool. Genetics switch to guard against escape supervirus. So it sounds like a plot of a Hollywood disaster movie. Scientists tinker with the flu virus to make it more deadly, only for the mutant strain to escape and trigger a pandemic. Yet flu scientists are currently at loggerheads over experiments to make the H7N9 bird influenza virus that emerged in China earlier this year even more dangerous. Some argue that gain-of-function experiments to make the virus more infectious, more deadly, and drug-resistant in ferrets, the best available test, animal for human flu. offer up vital information that could help us defend against the pandemic. Other scientists are concerned that deliberately creating a supervirus could provide a weapon to bioterrorists. What's more, they point out existing biosafety measures, such as requiring researchers to wear special safety suits and go through decontamination chambers when leaving the lab, may not be enough to prevent the virus from spreading. Well, of course, if they want to spread it, they'll spread it. Hepatitis B vaccine halted after 3 newborns die from system shock. The Vietnamese Health Department is coming out and ending the use of the hepatitis B vaccine throughout the entire country of Vietnam. It was made after 3 different families lost their babies after their young ones were inoculated with the standard hepatitis B vaccine. They died on July 20th. Some anaphylactic shock. Then you have the World Health Organization knowingly pushed deadly vaccine in India that killed thousands of children. The UN Indian Journal of Medical Ethics has accused the WHO of pushing a vaccine by stating falsely that no adverse event following immunization has ever been reported with the vaccine. In fact, however, the editorial says that's not true. Editorial says on May 4, 2013, the Ministry of Health in Vietnam suspended it after 12 deaths and 9 other non-fatal serious adverse events. According to local news reports, all the babies were in good health prior to the vaccination and had serious trouble breathing before dying shortly afterwards. In Washington, D.C., Planned Parenthood awarded $375,000 to promote Obamacare. So D.C. Obama-mandated health insurance exchange has awarded Planned Parenthood a $375,000 grant aimed at helping the abortion giant steer its clients towards the program. President Obama has asked Planned Parenthood to promote its health care law during an appearance on the organization gala in April. It says up here that studies estimate that there's only about 40,000 uninsured people living in the district, which falls short of the 100,000 required to make the exchange viable. They're talking about 35 exchange-endorsed HealthLink assisters selected by the D.C. Health Benefit Exchange Authority to receive a combined $6.4 million in grants, which will pay for in-house experts on Obamacare to promote health insurance exchanges and their clients. But as far as Planned Parenthood goes, they range these grants from $80,000 to $400,000, and Planned Parenthood was one of the largest. Only 2 grant recipients received more funding than the abortion giant. Coca-Cola to defend safety of aspartame, a new Chicago advertisement. They plan to run its first ad defending the safety of artificial sweeteners on Wednesday, a move that has come as the company looks to stem declining sales of diet soda. So it's going to run in USA Today in the Atlanta area, followed by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on Thursday and the Chicago Tribune next week. It says that diet drinks can help people manage their weight, which is a bunch of shit because we've already covered that this aspartame, these diet sodas actually lead to people gaining weight. So, and stresses the scientific evidence showing the safety of aspartame, which is probably done by the same company selling it. So it's like everything else, which is more commonly known under the NutraSweet brand name. I remember Splenda, which just changed basically from safe to caution. Remember that? So it goes on here. It says the fading popularity of soft drinks in the U.S. has been a long-running trend because of the fat, but it says, but more recently, people have been pulling back on soda as well, signaling concerns about soda that go beyond just weight gain. In fact, sales of diet sodas are falling at a faster rate than regular sodas in the U.S. Animal study suggests safe levels of sugar in American diet may not be so safe, so it goes on here and it says that too much sugar is bad for you, but how much exactly is too much? A study in mice has found that animals' health and ability to compete can be harmed by a diet that has sugar levels equivalent to what many people in the U.S. currently consume. So they're not associated with obesity, but also other human conditions such as coronary heart diseases. So the problem is that they keep using the word sugar, and is it sugar or is it high fructose corn syrup? Because like I've mentioned before, with high fructose corn syrup, we're talking about aspartame, these obesity, talking about these soft drinks that aren't regular cane sugar, but we're talking about high fructose corn syrup. So, you have sucrose, glucose, and then you have this fructose. And there's some kind of research out there. There is research out there that shows that this fructose has basically interferes with the fat burning process and mostly the metabolism. So, yes, you want to take things in moderation, But at the same time, they put this crap in everything. So, it's like you find it in food and all the time in food. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's used in pop, but then it's or soda. But then you'll find it in food products because it's also used as a preservative. So again, they're just blaming the victims of this. It's really sad. You just have to be wary about what's in your food and stuff like that. But how about just putting the natural ingredients in there instead of coming up with this, genetically or chemically or bioengineered alternative? Then burrito backlash. Chipotle announces it might use sick cows as beef source, then reverses itself after internet backlash. Earlier today, Chipotle reportedly told Bloomberg that it was considering expanding its supply chain to include sick animals treated with antibiotics. So, if Chipotle allows sick animals treated with antibiotics to remain in the supply chain, it will increase the amount of beef available to the company, says a former USDA economist and president. That opens up their supply quite a bit, and Chipotle will be able to buy cattle outside the USDA's Never Ever 3 program, which says cattle may never be given antibiotics, growth promotants, or fed anything with animal byproduct. This announcement seems to run counter to the long-standing philosophy of Chipotle, which has for years sought to focus more on naturally raised meats rather than usual factory farm products. Running into supply issues largely due to the growing commercial success of the food chain. So this is capitalism to the T, right? You can't just stay in your local area. Like places like Sonic in the South and Crystals and that. They got it was Chick-fil-A. Now they had to break in and increase market share, right? They get greedy. Creates low wage jobs that you can't support a family on. But, it's about the people at the top, the fat cats, and it's about them increasing market share and being able to buy another summer home somewhere in Barbados, instead of just staying where they are in their own little region. Some home remedies for hay fever and allergies. 5 basics to consider if possible. Avoid the outdoors from 5 to 10 a.m., which are peak times for high pollen counts. Have a set of indoor and outdoor shoes so you don't track dust and pollen in your home. Shower and change your clothes after being outside. That's seems like kind of extreme, but either way, be sure to wash your clothes immediately so no pollen remains in your home, and use a neti pot after being outside to rinse away any pollen in your nasal passages. I don't use tap water. And use an eye wash cup with saline solution to rinse your eye. Type in a headline and figure out how to make a hay fever inhaler. So basically use a half ounce of thyme to 1 pint canning jar. So cover with boiling water, close the jar tightly and let steep and cool for 30 minutes. Remove the lid and breathe in the vapors. So it says local raw honey will also contain various pollens in your area. So it desensitizes your immune system to pollen. It can reduce the severity of the allergies. Horseradish is a natural decongestant. Try spinning some jarred horseradish on crackers, whatever. Lemon tea with honey. Saline solution. I've heard of this before, but quercetin. It's available in foods such as apples, garlic, onions, and tea. And vitamin E, if you take 800 IUs. Turmeric may be more effective than common antidepressant drugs at treating depression. Has a role in elevating moods. This is according to researchers in India. So they compared the effects of turmeric and Prozac, both used together. So remember, you have to remember the suicidal side effects of Prozac. So turmeric side effects are the treatment of inflammatory conditions, diabetes, cancer, weight loss, assistance, slashing heart disease risk. Also topically for healing wounds and combating acne. Also a natural painkiller. Pilot and co-pilot killed in UPS cargo plane crash at Alabama airport. So yeah, in the latest series of aviation accidents in the United States this year. The sad thing is too is why didn't the guys eject? Why didn't they jump out with a parachute? Because they were there to basically save this plane and save all the goods in it. Those goods that they were carrying more valuable than their own lives. I mean, I don't know all the full details yet, but there's a good chance that was what they were told. That's protocol policy. X-47B drone lands on a U.S. aircraft carrier. So they basically hailed it as the achievement as the future of warfare. Florida to test drone designed for military and law enforcement for use in mosquito population control. They're going to spot pools where insects could hatch. They'll probably also just attach sprayers and spray DEET. Clean green surveillance drone. So an unmanned drone says that they can fly 9 hours and all in the clean energy of solar power. The company Aero Environment says it's indispensable for the military. So it's always the military first, then comes consumers, right? commercial in the form of commercial customers. So you're still dependent on the system. Florida company announced mass production of biofuel made of waste, so they turn municipal solid waste into ethanol. They say thorium is a tantalizing power source for future decades and generations instead of uranium. Taiwan nuclear plant is reportedly leaking radioactive water. And scientists genetically engineered bunnies to glow in the dark by injecting jellyfish genes into embryos. Thank you.